Hi, my name is Amber Marie Paulette Spain. It all began in 1998. I was about 10 years old. I barely knew my father. My mom had married Frank, my stepfather, and we later moved to Las Vegas. When we moved there, we found a place called the Thunderbird. Then times were getting really hard and tough because money was too tight. We could barely afford food and rent. My mom and Frank became very distant from each other after not being able to afford rent or food or anything. So they separated, and at the time we were living in the streets. We were scavenging through trash cans and begging people for food behind restaurants and bagel shops. Years after, when I was 13, my grandma came out from California to move me back to California, Azusa, California, to live with her because I had just seen too much suicide, too much drugs and drinking. So she thought it would be best for me to move back. Soon after we moved out to California, Grandma died. And Mom went back into her old habits with drinking and smoking drugs and inviting gangbangers. They would have their sex parties and drinking and drugs, and I couldn't handle it anymore. It was just too much for me. When we were living in the motel, I met a young man named Joseph. He was 20 and I was 15, and I fell in love. I felt secure and I felt protected, and I haven't felt that in a long time. It felt great. My mom didn't seem to be happy with that, and because he was 20, I was 15. In 2004, there was a huge fight between me, my mom, and Joseph about me being together with him. And she didn't like it still. She thought that we should break up. And at the time I thought everything was crumbling down because I felt that this was my security, this was my protection, this is everything I needed, something that I haven't gained within the years that I was with my mom. And Joseph felt very threatened and scared because he felt that he would either go to jail for statutory rape or he would get deported and go back to Mexico. So at that time, we decided to have a plan to flee to Mexico. So 2 days later, me and Joseph packed up our stuff and fled to Mexico. When I passed the border into Mexico, I officially knew that I became a runaway and a missing child. And I did all of this because I left everything bad behind me. In 2009, from an urgent friend, I had reported myself to the U.S. Embassy. I was 20 years old at the time. They had said that they needed to contact a family member, and the only way to do that was if I had any information, which I hadn't known any family members at the time because I was missing for 5 years. But they did get in contact with my father. The reason why I left Mexico was because I grew up and I matured, and I wanted to reunite with my family. There wasn't anything wrong in Mexico. I could be there today. In May of 2010, I met my fiancé Brian. And then in February 2012, we had our daughter Haley. I don't regret going to Mexico. I do regret losing my mother and not saying all the things I wish I could have said to her and all the memories we could have had. I do love you, Mom.